Okay, guys, when we look at any dashboard, we're going to look at results. Okay, what has happened? What have we achieved? How are we looking in terms of our actual objective? Funnel, what do we have to actually make the following months happen? And activity. Okay, what are we doing? Are we driving enough energy? Are we getting things going? And do we have any barrier there? Very important. Here you'll see merchants acquired by tier. You'll see merchants lost by month. And then how are you looking versus the target for prospecting, pitching, negotiating, and wins? Why? Because you'll see afterwards, it's very important. If you have a lot of wins, if you're very advanced in wins and very low on prospecting, best that you get going on the prospecting, best that you get going, because you know that the next month you'll need those prospects that have become pitching and negotiating, and then you're able to close. Funnel, you'll see both aggregates of the aggregate and then the breakdown by stage and tier. Very important, that you keep an eye on if you have a very strong lower funnel, hey, close, but at the same time start building the future. If you have a very weak lower funnel, how can you accelerate things? How can you work with your manager? How can you tell your manager, hey, I'm not going to be able to close, but hey, and next month, let me focus on prospecting and pitching and negotiating and bringing these deals to fruition, while the rest of the team closes. And then activity, lost reasons, learns from them, and tasks or activities, key to see, hey, am I driving sufficiently? Is there something that's stopping me? Very good. This way you can share it with your manager. Very briefly, we jump into the actual dashboard that you're looking at. Okay, this is the one that we're using for Thailand. Malaysia, you guys are using an individual dashboard with your name and last name. You can continue to use this ones. Shruti is creating a one for you too. The data is the same, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, here the numbers. Okay, I'm not going to filter. I can filter by person here. I'm not going to filter just for the sake of avoiding anyone feeling uncomfortable. By tier. At the same time, here you have it, but the close loss reasons by tier. Okay, very important that you always add that information because it can give you so much insight on what's going on eventually, and especially your bosses. Better than complaining, hey, you can see it in the loss reasons. And here, very important, you can see prospecting, pitching and negotiating, close one. In theory, the objective is that 216 have to be prospected or moved into prospecting. Very important. What Salesforce tracks is movement changes. Okay, pitching and negotiating 40 and close one, move to close one. Okay, this amount of this number. We need to revise and make sure that the numbers are the objectives are updated because the managers need to input that. But it just gives you a reference. For example, in this case, this person, if they're a person, is at 83% of its their objective for one, but it's very low and moving deals into prospecting. Why is it very important? Because that's the next month or the following month. If you don't prospect, if you don't do this kind of stuff, you're going to notice. In the same time, for pitching and negotiating, this will help you a lot. And when you look at the funnel, and here is the results part that we mentioned. This is the funnel part. You see the aggregate of the funnel. Here's a very big funnel, obviously, because it's the whole team. But here is the interesting part where you can say, hey, if I'm an individual and I've closed a bunch in tier one, or for example, this person would have closed a lot in tier three, and maybe says, hey, I actually am going to focus on the contracts in tier one because tier three has already closed. And I'm going to focus on the pitching and nego in tier one because I need to move more to make my objective. You can balance things out and you can see a little bit where you're at in terms of the situation. Then you can double click, okay, and you can go to the exact deals and move things around. Then here you have the exact deals and move things around. The most important factor here, clearly, the stage duration, okay? If something has been in some stage for a long time, means where it's lost or something needs to change to make it happen. What do you need? You can talk to your manager, say, hey, I have this several deals in 32 days. Hey, let's tackle it. This is what I need because I think this is what will get us going. Or if not, maybe your manager can give you an idea in that sense. And then the part here that you have is the activity, okay, where you will have the activities is last month, okay, and people were tracking this in more detail, okay. You need to track it. It's going to be demanded because it's actually the bosses want to have it, okay, which makes sense. But here you can track all the activities. You can be looking at calls. We'll have a different options for people to be able to track first call, second call, reach out, a meeting, second meeting. That way you can see your activity and say, oh, wow, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Where am I? And it will give you much more detail. Here, as you can see in the current month, team hasn't been updating it, okay? I'll have to follow up on this, but in the end, you know that this will give you very good information as long as you use it. And here, you're looking at Malaysia. Doesn't look great in terms of information because hasn't been updated. Malaysia, Thailand, sorry. but this will still give you, if you give the information, you will be able to see, for example, as you can see here, a bunch of, well, here you can see it, but in another one, you'll be able to see it. I think it was here, loss reasons. Okay, it's a bunch of duplicates, but imagine instead of duplicates, you had a bunch of variables here. This would be super insightful for your manager. Say like, oh, wow, this is what's happening. It's price, it's no budget, loss funding. Okay, we need to change our strategy. How can we do this? Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful. And I hope I can help you in any way you need. Thanks.